A very good morning to all of you. You're watching Breakfast News. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. Let's get the news rolling with the headlines first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds talks with Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia on coronavirus outbreak, highlights need for coordinated efforts to address the global challenge. Leaders agree on video conference among G20 nations like SAARC countries. Coronavirus cases in India now 147, 30 officers of level of joint secretaries and above to assist state governments to manage virus. Restrictions on passengers coming from EU, Turkey and UK from today. Centre tells all departments, ministries to install thermal scanners, mandatory sanitizer dispensers at entry of their buildings. More than 185,000 people worldwide infected with new coronavirus. Italy reports another surge in deaths, toll more than 2,500. EU to ban all travellers from outside the bloc. French Open Tennis and Euro 2020 football postponed. WHO tells Southeast Asian countries to act now to tackle virus. National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2019 and National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2019 in Upper House for further consideration and passing. Rajya Sabha also listed to hold discussion on working of 3 ministries in Lok Sabha Appropriation No. 2 Bill 2020 to be introduced. India and Bangladesh have created a golden chapter of mutual relations, says PM Modi in message to mark birth centenary celebrations of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Referring to Pakistan, says world witnessing condition of those who support terror and violence. The total number of confirmed coronavirus cases in India have risen to 147. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare informed that out of these 122 are Indian nationals and 25 are foreign nationals. There have been 3 deaths in the country so far, including one on Tuesday. At 39 cases, Maharashtra is the worst hit state, followed by Kerala. West Bengal also reported its first positive case of coronavirus. An 18-year-old man who recently returned from England tested positive for novel coronavirus. Union Home Secretary Ajay Bhalla on Tuesday reviewed levels of preparedness to contain the novel coronavirus threat. The meet also discussed the measures the authorities can take up on states bordering Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar. The meeting was attended by the chief secretaries and DGs of various states. The centre has also deputed 30 officers of the level of joint secretaries and above to assist state governments to manage the crisis. The centre has banned passengers from Afghanistan, Philippines and Malaysia from entering India till 31st March. The government has also advised people to avoid non-essential travel and urged employees to private companies to work from home. The centre on Tuesday also advised all its departments and ministries to install thermal scanners and set up mandatory sanitizer dispensers at the entry of their buildings to curb the spread of the novel coronavirus pandemic. The circular issued by the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions further listed some precautionary measures and practices for all government employees. The Indian Railways cancelled 76 trains in a bid to stop the spread of coronavirus and due to low occupancy on Tuesday. Meanwhile, DGCA has told airlines to deep clean and disinfect all aircrafts at least once in 24 hours. The Indian Council of Medical Research on Tuesday appealed to all private laboratories to offer testing for the coronavirus free of cost. Director General of ICMR also said that India was in the second stage of transmission. He hoped that India will hopefully not have the third stage, which is community transmission. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Tuesday night visited the Delhi airport to meet immigration, health, security and airport officials who are responding to the challenge posed by a coronavirus outbreak. After the visit, he tweeted, "India works because countless Indians do, night or day, rain or shine." Jaishankar tweeted after visiting the airport, Jaishankar thanked the officials at the airport for their exceptional effort in these difficult times. In the backdrop of coronavirus outbreak, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on Tuesday directed various agencies to be vigilant and take necessary steps to prevent panic. He gave the direction to the senior officials of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, NDMC, CPWD, CGHS and other agencies while taking a review meeting of the preparedness to tackle the spread of the novel coronavirus in the Parliament House estate and surrounding areas. In view of the increasing cases of coronavirus, the government has decided to close Taj Mahal, Lal Killa and other monuments. All ASI-protected monuments and central museums in India will be closed till 31st of March. Prime Minister Narendra Modi discussed the coronavirus situation with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, on Tuesday. He emphasized on the need for coordinated efforts to address the global challenge arising out of the coronavirus outbreak. The statement from the Prime Minister's office said that during the conversation, Prime Minister mentioned about India's recent initiative to organize a video conference among SAARC countries. The two leaders agreed that a similar exercise at the level of G20 leaders under the aegis of Saudi Arabia as a chair of G20 would be useful at a global scale to address the challenges posed by the pandemic. Rajya Sabha Secretary General Desh Deepak Verma said all necessary precautionary measures are being taken in Parliament to curtail the spread of the novel coronavirus. Our correspondent Kriti Mishra spoke to him about the measures being taken.
We are in the Parliament House complex right now, and joining us is Secretary General of Rajya Sabha, Mr. Desh Deepak Verma. Sir, welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. Tell us about the preventive measures that the Secretariat has taken in view of coronavirus scare.
You see, under the direction of our Honorable Chairman, we have decided to put a regime for preventing coronavirus inside the Parliament also. It begins with the thermal screening at the various gates, which we start for everybody, all the employees, and also about the honorable MPs. This will start. Apart from that, on every gate, the gates where they enter into the outer lobby and the gates where they enter into the Parliament, into the Rajya Sabha, all those points, the sanitizer has been kept with a sign like this so that people are able to use it. The honorable members can use it. And also within the Parliament, within the House also, we have kept two sanitizers on the two sides, which members, as and when they wish to, they can quietly rise and go there and sanitize their hands.
So one of the things that Chairman has been repeatedly saying that there's no need to panic. How are you ensuring that in the Secretariat?
Yes, what we are saying is that we are issuing an advisory even for our employees to say that they should take all precautionary measures, but there is no need to panic, and they have also been advised not to use public transport and as far as possible use their shared transport, shared vehicles. So all this has been done, and this has been told to them that this is all as a matter of abundant caution, and there is no need to panic on this issue, and we should take all these precautions.
Absolutely, sir. Prevention is better than cure. Thank you so much for talking to us.
And now let's connect with our news correspondent Anu Diwan for more updates on corona situation. Anu, as India scrambles to escape coronavirus crisis, what new measures have been adopted by the government to keep people safe?
Aditi, if we see, the number of coronavirus cases has now risen to 147, which includes 122 Indian nationals plus 25 foreign nationals. The number of cases, if we see that the worst hit state is Maharashtra with 38 number of cases. Seeing the increasing number of cases, the Government of India yesterday has set up a 30 nodal officers team, which includes the which includes the additional secretary, joint secretaries. They have been asked to coordinate. A team of additional and joint secretaries have been asked to coordinate with the state governments to fight with this coronavirus situation in the country. And seeing this increasing number of cases, the government has also issued an advisory. The Personnel Department of Government of India has issued an advisory which says that all the government buildings should have a thermal screening at the entrance point, starting with the entrance point, thermal screening, then sanitizing whole of the office and avoiding as much visitors as possible. Government has already banned entry of visitor into the government building. If necessary, only the necessary visitor will be allowed. And also all the government gyms, in the government buildings, recreation centers and other facilities have been asked to close down with immediate effect. Seeing this, because the government has also issued an advisory for social distancing. Although social distancing is a challenge, but is also a need of ours if you see the number of increasing cases in the country. Apart from this, travel from Afghanistan, Philippines and other countries have already been banned for up till 31st of March, and Archaeological Survey of India has stopped the entry of visitors to site under Archaeological Survey of India, because we see that many people from other countries used to visit these sites like Taj Mahal, Akshardham Mandir and all these places. To avoid the social distancing and crowding of these places, the government has Archaeological Survey of India has banned these till for a week, you can say.
Right, thank you Anu for all that information. It is indeed important to keep social distancing right now. Let's go ahead with more news. More than 1,85,000 people have contracted the new coronavirus worldwide and killed more than 7,517. On Tuesday, the World Health Organization issued a stark warning to countries in Southeast Asia. It said the situation is evolving rapidly. We need to immediately scale up all efforts to prevent the virus from infecting more people. 8 of the 11 countries in the WHO's Southeast Asia region have confirmed cases. Meanwhile, China reported just 1 new domestic infection on Tuesday, but 20 more from people arriving from abroad. Europe has been badly hit by novel coronavirus, with WHO saying there is a need for bold measures in all European countries, calling the continent the epicenter of the pandemic. Italy, which has registered the most cases outside China at more than 31,500, announced another surge in deaths on Tuesday from 2,150 to 2,503. The country remains in lockdown. Meanwhile, the European Union will ban travelers from outside the bloc for 30 days in an unprecedented move to seal its borders amid the coronavirus crisis. The measure is expected to apply to 26 EU states as well as Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway and Switzerland. UK citizens will be unaffected. The ban came as deaths continued to soar in Italy and Spain, and France began a strict lockdown. Meanwhile, the Euro 2020 football competition has been postponed by a year. Iran remains the world's third worst affected nation after China and Italy. More than 16,000 people are confirmed as infected and 988 have died. On Tuesday, 85,000 prisoners, including political prisoners, had been temporarily released to try to combat the spread. The death toll from the virus in the United States passed 100 and almost 6,000 confirmed cases. The White House is working on an economic stimulus package, with Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin saying that administration was looking at sending checks to Americans immediately. The deadly coronavirus has now hit all 50 states in the U.S. as West Virginia reported its first case of the infection on Tuesday. The French Open has been postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic. The Grand Slam event will now take place from September 20th to October 4th. It was scheduled from 24th May to 7th June. Euro 2020 has also been postponed due to the coronavirus outbreak. UEFA said that the football tournament would now take place from 11th June to 11th July 2021. The 24-team tournament due to be staged in 12 nations across the continent from 12th June to 12th July this year. And now let's take a look at the Rajya Sabha's legislative business for the day. Union Minister Shripad Yasho Nayak will move the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2019 for further consideration and passing. The bill aims to provide for a medical education system that improves access to quality and affordable medical education and promote equitable and universal health care that makes medical services accessible to all citizens. Shripad Yeshu Nayak will move the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2019 for further consideration and passing. The bill aims to ensure availability of adequate and high-quality homeopathy medical professionals. The upper house is also listed to hold a discussion on the workings of 3 ministries. Member Tiruchi Shiva will raise a discussion on the working of the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Bhupender Yadav is listed to raise a discussion on the workings of Ministry of Law and Justice, while Pratap Singh Bajwa will initiate a discussion on the workings of the Ministries of Rural Development and Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare. And now a look at the legislative business in Lok Sabha. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will introduce the Appropriation Number 2 Bill 2020. The bill seeks to authorize payment and appropriation of certain further sums from and out of the Consolidated Fund of India for the services of the financial year 2019-20. She will also move that the bill be passed. The lower house is also slated to hold discussion and voting on supplementary demands for grants both for the state of Jammu and Kashmir and Union Territory. Discussion and voting on the budget for the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir for 2020-21 is also listed. The Lok Sabha will also hold discussion and voting on demands for grants for Union Territory of Ladakh for the year 2019-20. And now let's connect with Kriti to gather more information on workings of Parliament. Kriti, what will be important during today's proceedings at both the houses?
Well, Aditi, talking about the Rajya Sabha first, yesterday we saw a very didactic discussion on the working of the Ministry of Railways, and thereafter the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill and the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine, that was also introduced and the discussion had started. Now today we expect that discussion to resume in the House, and the government would be seeking to ensure the passage of these 2 important bills. Thereafter there is discussion on the Ministry of MSME. Remember, the government has been planning to make India a $5 trillion economy, and in that context the role of MSMEs, that gains paramount importance. So the government would be giving a detailed reply after the members discuss the working of Ministry of MSME. There's also discussion on Ministry of Law and Justice, Rural Development and Agriculture, that is listed in day's agenda. And talking about the Lok Sabha, remember, a very important component in the Lok Sabha is the discussion on the budget of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. After abrogation of Article 370, state of Jammu and Kashmir was reorganized into UT of Jammu and Kashmir and UT of Ladakh. And in this year's budget, around 30,000 crore was allocated for Jammu and Kashmir and 6,000 crore for the UT of Ladakh. So there'll be a detailed discussion on that, and also the appropriation bill to authorize the appropriation or payment of certain sums of money from the Consolidated Fund of India, that would also be discussed in the Lok Sabha. So important day in both houses of Parliament. Aditi?
Thank you, Kriti, for providing us all those updates. Rajya Sabha on Tuesday took up discussion on the working of the Railway Ministry. Replying to a discussion, Railways Minister Piyush Goyal asserted that there is no plan to privatize Indian Railways as it belongs to the people of the country. He announced an investment of Rs 50 lakh crore in the national transporter over the next 12 years. Participating in the discussion, several Rajya Sabha members lauded government's initiatives, which resulted in the significant decrease in number of rail accidents in the country. Some also raised concerns over the financial health of the railways.
अगले 12 वर्षों में हम 50 लाख करोड़ का निवेश करने जा रहे हैं। स्वाभाविक रूप से सरकार इतना नहीं कर पाएगी। पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप में साथ में निवेश करेंगे। भारत की जनता को भी उस निवेश में सहभाग लेने का अवसर मिलेगा। पर मैं ये शुद्ध रूप से स्पष्ट कर दूं कि भारतीय रेल को प्राइवेटाइज करने की ना तो कोई प्रस्ताव है, कल्पना है, और ना कभी प्राइवेटाइज होगा। भारतीय रेल भारत की जनता की संपत्ति है।
डिफिकल्ट फेज कटरा से बानिहाल तक ये बहुत मुश्किल है। इसमें बहुत ऊंचे ऊंचे पुल, लंबे लंबे पुल बनने हैं, लेकिन 6 साल से उसमें बहुत ही धीमी प्रगति है। तो मैं माननीय रेलवे मंत्री जी से पूछना चाहूँगा कि असली अब कब तक ये टारगेट पूरा होगा।
बगहा से लेके चौतरवा, बथुड़िया, नौलपुर जोगापट्टी होते हुए, बैरिया नौतन होते हुए, जगदीशपुर होते हुए अरेराज जो रेलवे लाइन आता है, उसमें एक नई रेल लाइन देने की मैंने डिमांड आपसे किया था। फिर आग्रह कर रहा हूं कि चंपारण का सपना अधूरा है। वहां का आधा आबादी उस इलाके में रहता है और रेल से काफी असुविधा महसूस करता है, उसको नई रेल लाइन दिया जाए।
जो राजधानी हावड़ा राजधानी है या शियालदह राजधानी है, वो गया होकर के पटना होकर के जाती है। हफ्ते में अगर 2 दिन, एक दिन गया राजधानी, एक दिन शियालदह राजधानी और एक दिन हावड़ा राजधानी अगर भागलपुर और मुंगेर होकर के जाए तो वहां के लोगों को बहुत फायदा होगा।
जो कन्वर्जन का काम था पहले 1500 था, गेज कन्वर्जन का काम 1500 किलोमीटर था, आज 2800 किलोमीटर है। इसको हम लोग ने दुगना किया है। चाहे इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन का काम हो, 13-14 में 600 किलोमीटर जो रेलवे का होता है, और आज के दिन करीब 6000 किलोमीटर। क्या आपको फर्क नहीं दिखाई देता इसमें?
Kisan Rail, the rails which will be carrying Kisan produce needs to have warehouses, godowns also along the lines with a special thrust to be given on cold storage, which needs to, if this kind of, because perishable goods will be carried, will be transported, and that needs this kind of facility also.
Lok Sabha passed the Aircraft Amendment Bill 2020 through voice vote. Earlier, Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri moved the bill to amend the Aircraft Act 1934 in the House for consideration. While introducing the bill, the minister said that the amendments would fulfill the requirements of the International Civil Aviation Organization. This will also enable the 3 regulatory bodies in the civil aviation sector in India, namely Directorate General of Civil Aviation, Bureau of Civil Aviation, Security and Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, to become more effective, which will lead to enhancement in the level of safety and security of aircraft operations in the country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday hailed Sheikh Mujibur Rahman for pulling Bangladesh out of devastation, saying he devoted his every moment to create a positive and progressive society. In his video message to mark the birth centenary celebrations of Mujibur Rahman, popularly called Banga Bandhu, Prime Minister Modi said he was happy that in the last 5 to 6 years, India and Bangladesh have created a golden chapter of mutual relations. The year-long celebrations were scheduled to open amid massive festivities at the National Parade Ground in Dhaka on Wednesday and was expected to be attended by several foreign dignitaries, including Modi. But the celebrations were curtailed due to the coronavirus pandemic.
बंगबंधु शेख मुजीबुर रहमान पिछली सदी के महान व्यक्तित्वों में एक थे। उनका पूरा जीवन हम सभी के लिए बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा है। बंगबंधु यानी a leader of courage, a man of conviction, a sage of peace, a champion of justice, equality, and dignity, a hand of defiance against brutality, and a shield against coercion. उनके व्यक्तित्व की इन खूबियों ने उस दौर में लाखों युवाओं को बांग्लादेश की मुक्ति के लिए हर चुनौती का मुकाबला करने के लिए एक नई ऊर्जा दी थी।
And now let's talk about environment and climate change. Virtually all the world's demand for electricity to run transport and to heat and cool homes and offices, as well as to provide the power demanded by industry, could be met by renewable energy by 2050. Latest research by Stanford University in California adds together the potential for each technology to see if individual countries or regions could survive on renewables. It says that a combination of wind, solar and water power with various forms of storage capacity can add up to 100% of energy needs in every part of the planet. The amount of energy used overall would be reduced by 57.1%. Cost involved in its production would fall by around 50%, and 28.6 million more long-term full-time jobs would also be created. Along with that, the benefit of clean air, particularly in Asian countries like India and China, makes renewables far more beneficial. And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of Breakfast News. Thank you for watching.